Okay, that's getting close. My name's Mike Roos, and I'm a comedian, and I don't play any instruments. But recently I went on a cruise, and everything I knew about cruises was based on watching The Love Boat and Titanic. And so let me tell you that a real cruise, that's a little bit different than the Love Boat. And here's some of the differences. First of all, on the Love Boat, you saw the captain every episode. On this cruise, I was on the ship for 5 days, and I didn't see the captain once, but since we were close to the Bermuda Triangle, maybe it's a good thing that the captain was up on the bridge steering the ship. Another difference is the cruise director we had was much more talented than Julie. It's like Julie, all she did was get in trouble, and our cruise director could sing and dance, and he was MC for a show, told jokes, and he didn't have the hots for Doc. Another difference is the bartenders on the ship were much busier than Isaac, so they did not have time to sit there and listen to your little sob story about how your love life wasn't working out. Another difference is on the Love Boat, they always had great weather. And, of course, that was because the Love Boat was filmed in a studio in Los Angeles and not out on the ocean. And, we actually had some 5-foot waves, and you could feel the ship moving. And there was times you had to, kind of walk like this to, get around. Another difference is the Love Boat always had a happy ending. And I think on my cruise that there were some people that were in love when they got on the ship. Didn't meet anybody that fell in love while they were on the ship, and I think there was 2 couples that fell out of love while they were on this cruise. So I did a few things to get ready for the cruise. One is I watched an episode of the TV show called Kolchak the Night Stalker, which was in the 1970s. Anyway, and there was a werewolf on the cruise ship. And so, of course, TSA confiscated all our silver bullets, and so there we are on the ship, totally unprepared for werewolves. The good thing was, a friend later told me, he said, well, it wasn't the full moon, so you didn't have anything to worry about. Another thing I did was watch a documentary on the Discovery Channel about the Yarmouth Castle, which was a cruise ship sailing from Miami to Nassau in the 1960s, and the ship caught fire and sank. And, that kind of gave me nightmares. So definitely not something you ought to do before you go on a cruise. You've all heard of the scam where somebody pretends to be a relative or a close friend, and they call you up or send you an email or something and says, I'm trapped in a foreign country, send me money. And it's like, well, I actually got to perpetrate that. And so we had about 10 people in our group going on a cruise, and 3 of them traveled separately. And so we pulled this little prank on them saying, I got detained in the Denver airport, and I was selected for extra security, strip searched, missed my airplane, and so can you send me some money so I can buy another plane ticket so I can get there in time for the cruise? And boy, we had them going for several hours. And then finally it was like, okay, we were just kidding you. One of the things we did the day before the cruise is went on a boat tour of the Everglades. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I've been to Australia, and Australia is a dangerous place because they've got 66 species of venomous snakes. Well, in the Everglades, you got alligators, hurricanes, the giant pythons, and killer bees. And it's like, gee, the Everglades is more dangerous than going to Australia. So my cabin was on the bottom deck of the ship, which is actually below waterline. And so, you start thinking about Titanic, and we were supposed to have this beach towel, and I never found my beach towel, but I did find my life vest in a closet, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I can put my life vest on, and I can float to the top of the cabin as the ship is starting to go down, and until the cabin is totally submerged. We did meet a descendant of Thomas Jefferson, and so if you've seen some of my other shows, that you would know that Thomas Jefferson was one of the biggest horn dogs to ever hold the office of President of the United States. And so we met an actual descendant of his through his affair with one of his slaves. One of the things that happened on the ship was a show that was similar to the dating game, where they had the couple that had been married the longest time, which was over 30 years, the least time, which was 2 weeks, and then somebody in the middle. And, of course, everybody was embarrassed, and they were asked awkward questions. And one of the couples of our group, they could have been on the show for the longest married couple, but they showed up late, and so they didn't get on the show. And, the guy's retired military, and military people are never late for anything. And so I think that was just a deliberate action on his part so that he didn't have to be embarrassed to be on a game show. And then the couple that had been married only 2 weeks, they had such awkward answers that even the host of the show said, "Hey, this marriage isn't going to last." And so I think that's one of the two couples on the ship that fell out of love. Another thing I never was prepared for after 250 episodes of Love Boat, but supposedly if you hang a pineapple upside down on the door of your stateroom, that indicates that you're available. And so one of the people in our group brought these little magnetic pineapples that we could hang on our doors. And so one of the ladies that was in our group, she got propositioned by a divorced or a guy who was married. He had a fight with his wife, and he was looking for something extra. And so that's probably the second couple I know of that fell out of love on that trip. And so, of course, this woman, she's very attractive, and I think she probably just naturally assumed that the guy came for her. And it's like, "Are you sure?" You're like, he might have come for your roommate. We had a real nice dining room on the ship, and it was kind of cold, so I wore my suit jacket to dinner just because it was cold the whole time. And one of the things I found out was I got lots of compliments for wearing a suit. People were checking me out. Nobody was checking me out in my swimsuit. So I said, well, I better hit the gym when I get home from this cruise. The cruise line's trying to cut down on drinking on the ship, and so for $400 you could sign up for unlimited alcohol, which actually turned out to be 15 drinks per 24 hours. And on the first day, I met two people that, they had like 4 hours left before their clock reset, and they had already reached their 15-drink limit. It's like, my life is not so messed up that I have ever had 15 drinks in a 24-hour period. Well, there was a piano bar on the ship, and so the lady would, if she knew the song, she'd play it and she'd sing, and if she didn't know the song, she would very discreetly crumple up your request and throw it in the trash. And so I requested the Frank Sinatra song "My Way," and she says, "Well, I sort of know that." And she says, "What, do you sing?" And I said, "Yeah." She says, "Well, come on up here." It's like, "What?" And so I had to kind of like stumble my way through singing that song. I guess one of the people in the group was she was just bouncing off the walls, saying, "Oh man, this cruise it's going to be like the greatest thing in your life." And it's like, well, it was fun, but I don't think it was the greatest thing in my life, but it was good. It just not the greatest. And so then with this same group, we went on a ski trip, and I kind of warned him, said, "Hey, this ski trip, it may make a comedy routine." So, but anyway, it was fun. I get material just by being alive and observing things, and so maybe that could be a tax write-off. I don't know. Well, thank you, everybody, and good night.